know, it's really time to start something and take that big leap for a new beginning? In this video, I will share my tips so that you can get your timing just right. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Diana and I help women with self-esteem issues to regain self-trust and courage to create positive change so they can answer their heart's calling and proudly live their purpose. And today I want to talk about time, about our internal timing and when it's the right time to start that new thing and for that new beginning that we are so often looking forward. And those tips that I'm about to share with you today, I have learned from my own personal experience and also by observing other people, because I think indeed life is the best teacher for us, and if we learn our lessons, if we learn from maybe the mistakes that other people have made, then we kind of get some idea of how things could work and what could be helpful in certain cases. And today it's all about timing. But before I go on, I would like to encourage you to like this video if you like it, and also do consider subscribing and also hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video, which is every Wednesday. But now let's talk about time and our timing, when exactly we are ready for that new beginning, and how do we know that we are ready or not. And first I would like to invite you to think about nature a bit. So if you observe nature, you notice that whatever is happening in nature happens in accordance with cycles. The best example for that is seasons. So we have spring, we have summer, we have fall, and we have winter. And things that happen in spring doesn't happen in summer or winter, and vice versa. So every single event, every single occurrence in nature has its specific time frame when it's happening, and it flows and develops naturally. And we also have, for example, moon phases. We have even our own biological rhythm, the circadian rhythm. I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's the biological clock that we all have, and there are periods of the day when we are more active and there are periods when we are more restful, like we are sleeping. If we are in tune with how the energy rises and falls naturally, we are also better off sensing when it's time for us, when we are the most ready to start new beginnings. And how those natural cycles are built are basically, we do have the more active phase. So we could relate that to the spring and summertime. It's that time when we are energetic, when we have lots of energy available to us, and when we can get the best work done. And that is followed by this more introspective, passive phase, which relates more to fall and winter time in nature, when we are kind of turning within, becoming more introspective, when we are digesting what we just experienced in that active phase, when we are ready to process all that information and whatever happened in the active phase, when we are ready to let go of that which we no longer need, and prepare for the next activation phase and sow the seeds for that next period of activity. And this is how it normally flows. And if we are in tune with this natural rhythm, then we kind of move in this upward spiral. That is how we grow, and that is how we expand and evolve. Besides this natural rhythm, another very important thing to consider is where you're at when it comes to your personal development or healing journey. And your current position in your journey determines how many resources are available to you. by resources, I mean your skills, your experience, your knowledge, but also your psychological readiness. And the psychological readiness becomes very important when it comes to new beginnings. Perhaps you are not ready for something yet, even though you are kind of in that phase when new beginnings are available to you. But if you psychologically are not ready relative to that thing that you would like to start, then of course you still need to work on becoming ready. So relative to that thing, you are not in the phase of activity, you are still in the introspective phase. So here it is important that we are able to set our goals and start new things in accordance with how ready we actually are for those things. And here we have to look for that sweet spot when we actually set our goal high enough so that we can grow and expand and get out of our comfort zone, but not too high. If the goal is too high up there, then we decrease chances of us actually reaching that goal because it will be too high for us if we are not yet ready for it. So we should be aware of that, and that's why it's important that we do take into account our psychological readiness as part of the natural rhythms that we follow. However, unfortunately, many of us are not in tune with ourselves and nature, and as a result of that, we often don't take action when it's the right time for it, or we try to act when it's not the right time for it. So basically, we break this natural balance. And here we could introduce the third phase. So we have the activity phase, we have the introspection phase, and the third phase could be how I would call it when we are overripe. And we can often tell that we have become stagnant and that we are in this overripe phase if we lose excitement for life and ourselves, we don't enjoy ourselves anymore, we could procrastinate a lot. There could be a lot of perfectionism because we always wait for that perfect moment, or things are not ready. We want everything to be perfect, and so we never take the next step. We never move forward with our ideas because we don't believe that they are ready for that. And basically, being in this phase could make us feel heavy and that we are stuck and we don't really know which way to go. We could feel this way if we didn't start the activity phase and if we didn't start this next phase of growth. But it could also be problematic if we don't enter the introspection phase, if we stay too long in the activity phase. So naturally it would need to go down, so our activity level would need to go down. But if we keep going, we at one point we hit the plateau. But if we still keep going and if we still try to give from ourselves, if we still try to give the energy that we have, we risk having burnout. We could get really tired and exhausted, and here again we lose all excitement for what we are doing. So you have to know where you're at relative to what you want to achieve in order to understand your inner timing and your readiness for new beginnings. And here I would like to share some signs with you when you know that you are ready or are not ready to start new things. And let's start with the signs when you are ready. So if you feel this way relative to something you want, then you know you have to go ahead and this is the perfect time. And the first sign is definitely excitement. So you feel excited. You cannot wait to begin. You really, really want that thing. You feel all fired up and ready to go. So if you feel excited about something, this is a very good sign that yes, you are ready for that new beginning. Then another thing is expansion. So your body feels expansive, like you are opening up whenever you think about this new beginning or this thing or this idea that you would like to explore. Something opens up, something expands inside, and you feel this kind of breath of fresh air flowing into you, and it's so good. It feels really good. And also it takes your breath away. So it's like, oh my God, I want this. And also you could feel anxious and fearful since, as I already mentioned, if you do aim high enough so that you can grow and get out of your comfort zone, you will feel probably anxious and fearful about this thing because, and it's actually a good sign that if you feel that way, because then it means that you are indeed growing, and this, whatever is this thing that you're about to start, will help you grow, and it will be a genuine expansion for you. So fear coupled with excitement and joy and this feeling of expansion is a very good indication that you are on the verge of a new beginning. And please don't miss it. Here, take action, go ahead, do what you need to do in order to start that new beginning. And if you ride the wave and if you follow this flow, then you will also notice how smoothly everything unfolds, and there could be a lot of synchronicities. The right people could show up in just the right time, and even though you have this fear and you don't have everything sorted out, you don't have a complete clarity, somehow as you go, things just fall into place. And this is also another beautiful indication that you are in alignment with the universe. So basically the universe is helping you, it's pushing you and moving you forward. And your inner response is this feeling of excitement and expansion. But now let me share a couple of signs which indicate that you are most likely not ready for that new beginning. And the first sign is confusion. You feel confused and lost relative to this idea or this possible new beginning. You could also feel the lack of excitement. So it's just opposite of what I mentioned previously when I was speaking about being ready. So this time you don't feel excited. You could also feel anxious. You could feel anxiety relative to this new beginning. And this time the fear and anxiety you are feeling is coupled with this confusion and lack of excitement, and that's a good indication that you are not ready. Your internal system is not responding positively to this idea. So you are better off not taking action at this time. And you could also be feeling blank, like you don't have any ideas, things don't make sense to you, you don't really see yourself in this situation, or you don't see yourself making it or achieving some progress with this thing. So indeed you are kind of shut off. Your internal system doesn't support this new idea. But if you happen to be in this overripe phase, when you missed your window of opportunity and you didn't take the action when the time was right, some signs that you have entered that phase could be this feeling of heaviness and stagnation that I already mentioned, but also you could be feeling like a failure. Your self-confidence and self-esteem could suffer if you are in this phase for some longer period of time. Again, you feel no joy, there is no excitement for what you are doing, and there could also be this tendency to live either in the future, when you are preparing yourself and you are visualizing this ideal future with all those perfect opportunities and perfect time, or you may also be living in the past a lot. So you are not really in the present moment, since the present moment is too painful for you. It would make you face everything that you are not doing, and it would make you deal with your negative feelings and emotions. So that could happen for you a lot. You could feel like you really don't want to do anything. You could feel bored about yourself and about your life. Boredom is actually a very good sign that you have lost touch with your natural flow of energy, that there is something off about the way you live, that you are not really in tune with your internal guidance system. But if you do attempt to start something new, whenever you are not really ready for that, or when you are in the stagnation phase, you could meet with a lot of resistance because you are yourself very resistant to this new beginning. You will manifest it externally. You will attract people and circumstances that will be in resistance with this new beginning. And so you could experience a very slow progress or a lack of progress. Or you could be working really, really hard without seeing any real return of your investment. So you could get tired easily and burn out really quickly because you don't have enough energy to sustain yourself, but also externally you don't really receive enough support to help you keep going. So that could happen if you start prematurely, if you are not ready for that new beginning. Or perhaps you simply just cannot take the pressure. You are not ready. Your psychological timing is not allowing you to accomplish this thing and to be on top of this thing. So you might fall into, you might digress, and perhaps you could activate some traumas and some negative behavioral and thinking patterns. So basically, if you go against your inner timing, you risk working really, really hard with very little result and also doing some damage to yourself psychologically. Okay, now, but what exactly do you do when you are in the stagnation phase or when you are not ready for that new beginning? So the first thing that I would like to say is that being introspective is okay. It's more than okay, and it's actually very necessary for you. So often we think that we need to do something, we need to take action, we need to stay active, and we need to keep going, and we need to just keep doing all that. But if you are not ready, then taking a step back, looking within, and trying to figure out what's going on, what is it that you need to release, and taking a rest and switching your focus away from the activity could actually be the best thing that you could do. So that's definitely something that you need to consider. You have to enter the introspection phase. Another important thing is connecting with your why. Why do you want to achieve the things that you want to achieve? Why does it matter to you? Why is that important to you? So if you do connect with that bigger why and bigger meaning behind whatever it is that you want to do, you will also generate means for yourself to get over your fear and anxiety, and you will start to develop solutions and see possibilities of how you could actually get things done. The next thing is you have to build up your self-trust, that you trust yourself enough to be able to follow through and to make it, so that you can get past all those excuses. It's not the right time, it's not yet ready, it's not this, it's not that. So build self-trust. I can do it, I will make it, I will figure things out, I will find a way, and I will do it as I go. So this is that belief that you have to cultivate within yourself. Then it's necessary that you do the practical preparation and that you actually create real strategies. So you don't have to go blindly. You don't have to shoot in the dark. You just figure things out. You sit down, you plan, you make the strategy, and you learn, you acquire new skills if necessary. You prepare yourself for starting that new thing that you have on your mind. And finally, I would like to mention that risk assessment is also very important. So you have to understand and be informed about what you are signing up to. And this is where having as much information as possible will definitely serve you. If you know all the different scenarios that could happen, it's also easier for you to develop strategies, what you would do in case scenario A would come true or scenario B would come true. So if you do the risk assessment, you can also ease your mind because you have prepared yourself for all the occasions that could happen. You feel ready, you feel prepared, and that will push you forward to that phase when you are actually ready to take real action because you will have thought things through. Specifically, if you are at the stagnation phase, what I would like to suggest is that you switch to the growth mindset. Instead of seeing the world and yourself as something static and something that never change, you have to start thinking about growth, about expansion, and you have to start to adopt habits that will actually help you grow and expand. So this is that self-development work that could be very, very helpful for you at this stage. The next suggestion for me here is that you start small whenever you are in the stagnation phase. That's one strategy, that's one approach that works. If you start small, you take one small step at a time, you celebrate your success, and you build up that confidence to take the next step, and then the next one, and the next one, and after a while you will notice that you have gotten yourself out of that stagnation phase. Yes, change of habits is another thing, and I already mentioned that with the growth mindset. So definitely you have to adopt new habits that will help you take those small steps and make some progress relative to what you want to achieve, but also to help you open up your mind so that you can start to notice opportunities that are all around you. Being more open, learning new things, consciously and intentionally looking for ways to innovate things, to come up with new solutions to old problems. So this has to become something that you do automatically. It has to become your habit. And also what helps a lot is if you change your environment, if you are able to do that. If you plant yourself in new surroundings where there are different people, and if those people have the qualities that you are looking for, if they have already living the life that you would like to live, you will change without you even trying too hard, because they will make you change by influencing you positively. So you have to pick, if only you can. Of course, it's not possible always, but if only you can, do pick people to hang around with and pick that environment that will support your growth. And it's also very important to be aware of what type of information you consume. If you go online, if you go on your social media, then what is it that it's there? What is it that you consume? You have to be aware of that, and you have to make sure that whatever you are taking in serves your growth and serves your goals. So this is that one strategy when you start small and bit by bit you build yourself up and you move yourself away from that stagnation phase. But there is other approach that you could use, and that is radical change. You don't take any small steps, you just take everything you have, you just throw it in the air and then see where it falls down and what order can you create from that chaos. So if you feel ready for the radical change, and if you are so fed up with the way your life currently is, and if you feel that you can handle that, then of course radical change is the best. Nothing will ever stay the same after you take radical action. But of course, not all of us are ready for that. And here again, you have to be in tune with your psychological readiness. Are you ready? And will you be able to handle that type of chaos and that type of change? If yes, great, go ahead. You will achieve what you want to achieve. At least you will give yourself the best possibility of that happening. But of course, if you are not ready, then it's better for you to take this small step approach. And here I would like to recommend you to watch my video about accepting and embracing change. And that will give you some additional insight into stages of change and how ready we are for that, and what could be the most helpful thing for you to do if you are going through change, or if you know that you need to change something about your life. So this is what I have for you today. The most important take-home message from this video is that we are all a part of nature, and as such we do have our personal rhythms and cycles, and not only on a biological but also psychological level. And if only you can be in tune with your own biological and psychological rhythms, you will sense when it is the right time for that new beginning, and also when it's the right time to take some rest, to recuperate, and to prepare yourself for the next cycle when you will be ready for that new beginning. And if you are not ready for something, please don't force yourself. You will only run into even more trouble. The best thing that you can do at that point is to adjust yourself so that you become ready. I'm also planning to develop a quiz to make it easier for you to understand exactly where you are on your journey. So do check the description box. Okay, that's it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think. Let me know what is your experience, and perhaps you have your own tips to share. I would love to hear from you. And I'll see you soon in my next video. Take care and bye bye.